like a cat.
Here we go. Here we go.
What is...
Oh, let's go. Just kicks it. Oh, that was smooth. Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Arron.
And we post new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're reacting to the new Blue Beetle trailer.
3, 2, 1. Action.
All right, the new Blue Beetle trailer dropped a few days ago. This is gonna be the next DC movie that comes out after The Flash, right? Is it after or before?
Yeah, it comes out in August and Flash comes out over the summer.
Okay, cool.
So we are going to do our live in-person reactions to the trailer.
Yeah, I think we should just start.
Let's get to it.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Loading.
Action.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes? You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
I love him. Sholo Meridueña from Cobra
You
Kai.
always land on your feet, bro. You're Jaime.
It's a pet peeve.
What's a pet peeve?
When people say bro. Who calls their brother bro?
Bro? My sister does, actually.
For real?
Yeah.
Guard that with your life, but do not open it.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
You haven't looked?
What the hell is that?
It's a scarab.
You haven't looked? How long did he have in the box?
Can't have been for that
I would
long.
look right away.
Who likes me?
He was very calm, wasn't he? Wasn't he very calm when he was
freaking out. Look at George. Dude, George Lopez. Oh, dude, I'd be freaking out.
Dude, for sure. That looks painful.
Were those Nikes? We just watched Air.
Jordan?
Damn, the suit looks so good. Look at how it glows. I love the trend towards the eyes. The glowing eyes for different suits. Like, hell yeah, give me that every day. Oh, look, that's beautiful. Just a whole view of the whole world.
Systems ready.
This ain't what you want. This ain't
They got it, dude. The Jaime Reyes. They got the
Dude, that's just like Shazam.
going on.
They took that right from Shazam.
It's called the scarab.
the what? Stopping right above the water.
Stopping him like right from the floor, like right when he learned how to fly.
This ain't what you want.
Sometimes it does what you want.
Oh, that's so
and
cool. It's
sometimes it doesn't.
intuiting. The suit is doing that all on its own.
I think I cut a bus.
Oh, so he's kind of like a,
Like melts that bus like butter.
this is kind of like a symbiote.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would describe him as like a mix between like Moon Knight, Venom, and then he's also got like an Iron Man aspect. Oh, that's sick.
Oh, the two gloves.
Shit. Like the boxing gloves. You see the way he kicked that guy in the wall?
It's like a Henry Cavill pumping up his muscles. Oh,
Did you see him like lock that rocket under the ground with like a shield? That was like a
here we go. Here we go.
What is?
Oh, let's go. Just kicks it. Oh, that was smooth.
Dude, that was. Oh. He's like a Power Ranger.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
I just want to rap.
That's a fascist. George Lopez about to be so funny in this movie.
Okay.
I love when they suggest comics too. Read where it all began.
Yeah. So DC's been doing a good job at that. You know, like a lot of the
Connecting.
movies that they've or announced for the new DCU, they are like directly linked to a comic book. Like Marvel they don't really promote their comics that much.
Yeah,
You know?
I think comic sales. I keep hearing that comic sales in general are an upward trend. I mean, it's superheroes so big right now,
Yeah, I believe that.
but like connecting it back, definitely like paying that homage. Like DC is doing a really
Yeah,
good
like
job of that.
right away, right after the main trailer. Yeah, that was good.
That was freaking sick as hell.
Dang, you
That was
seem really hyped.
That was a damn good trailer. Like Blue Beetle has.
You don't
like,
think it was like a little generic?
No, bro.
Bro,
the
come on.
sword,
Dude,
the sword at the end.
Okay. The best part was definitely that little sword flip that he did. But it I don't know.
What about it feels generic?
I don't know. Didn't it kind of just feel like any other superhero movie?
No.
No?
I mean, I think that
Like, what's the movie about?
it's about, so you know that it's going to be about family.
Family.
You get like a split second in the trailer of Susan Sarandon, who I know is going to be the villain of this movie. She is supposed to be Ted Kord's sister. So Jaime Reyes is the third Blue Beetle. He's the third incarnation, supposed to be the third person to have the Scarab. Before him was Ted Kord, and before that was Daniel Garrett. So Ted Kord is like an inventor genius, and Daniel Garrett, I think, is like an archaeologist. I don't know Blue Beetle. I don't know Blue Beetle as well as some people, but I've seen him in a lot of like animated content. I watch Young Justice. I've seen him in like that DCAU movies, and I do really like him from what I've seen. But Susan
So
Sarandon
you know of Blue Beetle before like this movie was announced.
absolutely. So I liked his character. I was excited for the announcement of this movie in general. But Susan Sarandon is playing the villain, I guess. She says a line that's like, "The Scarab may have chosen you, but it belongs to me," which is like an interesting thing, because in a way the Scarab, I feel like, is also like a living entity. Like it's an artificial intelligence in a way. Like it thinks. It's a lot like the symbiote, like Venom.
Those are always really cool dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, where the hero is like at conflict with his powers, basically.
This one sounds more like it sounds like a cross between Karen, is that her name, with the AI that Spider-Man has. It sounds like I feel like it's not Karen.
I don't think it's Karen, but I don't know the name of it.
It sounds like a cross between Spider-Man's AI or like Friday. It sounds like a cross between her and Venom, because the origins of the Scarab are it comes from this group of the species called the Reach. So like the two oldest species in Marvel lore in existence are the Owens, or like the Guardians.
Marvel or DC?
Did I say DC?
You said
that's the
Marvel.
same. Okay, yeah. So it's supposed to be in DC.
Okay.
To be clear, in the oldest in DC lore.
Fake fan alert! Fake fan alert! Andrew doesn't even know which company it's from.
Let me spit some knowledge for you here. 1 second.
Andrew just closed his computer. He's getting serious now.
The two oldest species in DC lore are the Owens, which is like the people who are the council, or what would you say for the Guardians of the Galaxy? They are the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are. So
I'm sorry. What did you just get them confused again?
the Green Lanterns. They're called the Guardians. The Owens are called the Guardians. So they're
Marvel's your favorite. Just admit it.
no.
Just admit it. You know deep down inside of you that Marvel is your favorite.
No.
You can't even talk about this new DC project without mentioning Marvel every other sentence. Can you please give me some information about Blue Beetle here?
Yes.
Please.
The Reach is the second oldest species right after the Owens, right? So the Reach and the Owens are in this origin comic, they're at war, but they have a peace treaty. Even still, the Reach creates like an ultimate weapon. That is the Scarab. And the idea of this weapon is for that it to be sent out to other planets. It'll overtake a host, control them, and use that host. This is like a world-destroying weapon, the Scarab. It'll use that single host to take over that planet. So long story short, this Scarab becomes damaged, and by the time it gets to Earth, it is no longer has the capability to completely control the host. So it imbues the host with all these powers, right? Like it envelops them in the Scarab, in the suit, which gives them durability, speed, reflexes, strength, energy abilities, and then on top of that, kind of this intuitive ability, this third-person omniscient ability to protect them. And to make some decisions for them, even without complete control. And it can like create, like it says in the movie, it can create different designs. It can create arm cannons like Cyborg, or like a sword, or it can do these different things. So it has all these cool abilities. But now this damaged Scarab can't control people as well. So it's probably seeking a weak host. It originally, in different depictions, I think it either interacts with the Aztecs and Mayans or with the Egyptians. And either way, the leader of their people in the story will take on the host, and he realizes it's looking for a weaker host to move on to, and he kind of like buries himself in rubble in a temple. And later on, Daniel Garrett, the first Blue Beetle, will discover it because he's an archaeologist, and he'll pass it on to Ted Kord, who eventually it through like a kind of just wrong place, wrong time, ends up going from him to Jaime Reyes, who Jaime is just this young Hispanic high school kid. And it's really cool that they're starting with this movie with this depiction of Blue Beetle, because there's never been a solo depiction of a Hispanic superhero. And I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for the culture it seems like they're injecting into the movie. It has a Hispanic lead, Hispanic director, Hispanic writer. So like it's not just inside the movie, it's like people who are making the movie. I've heard the movie has anywhere from 40 to 60% of the dialogue in Spanish with subtitles for American audiences. I think that it definitely already, I mean, they got George Lopez, he's an icon, and it already seems like they're very much going to dig in on the family aspect, which is huge in the Hispanic community, huge in Jaime Reyes' character. Like when you watch, I mean, I haven't read all the comics, but I haven't read Blue Beetle yet, but when you watch him in the animated content, he's very big on his like allegiance to his friends and to the team, and very big on the importance of his family in that world too, because his ties to his family are really strong. So I think it's going to make for a really emotional story. There's already a line in the trailer where one of the villains says, "Your family makes you weak," and I know Jaime's gonna snap back to that, because that's the theme of this movie is definitely going to be opposite. It's going to be Fast and the Furious. It's going to be all about family.
Seems like a mixture of like Shazam, Venom, but then also Omni-Man, right? Because
the planet conquering
Earth, he's there to like weaken the planet so they can come and take over eventually. That's kind of the vibe that I was getting from your description and also watching the trailer there.
The Scarab in all the depictions I've seen.
Oh, and Moon Knight.
Yeah. The Egyptian aspect. The Scarab in all the aspects I've seen tends to disagree with Jaime a lot. Like Jaime will be arguing with it, saying, "No, we need to like protect my friends. We need to make the moral choice." And the Scarab will take like a logical approach and be like, "There's only like 10% chance we're going to save them. We got to do this instead. Prioritize the mission objective." The Scarab is very like pragmatic, and
it introduces like this deeper level, because it's like sometimes people just make bad choices, but in this case, maybe it's not the actual person that's making the bad choice, or like pushing the line or going over the line, like it's his powers that are doing it. It's the Scarab, but it's at the same time like we have to control that, that's a wild card.
I think it's going to make for a very cool dynamic, and plus it adds like a special layer to Jaime as a character, because like you said, he has to fight to make the right choice. It's the right choice is usually the hard choice, but it's even harder when there's literally a voice in his head trying to turn him away and have him do something else, potentially in this movie trying to control him, trying to get him to take over the planet. Who knows what their depiction is for this Scarab. I was fortunate to see a really cool video online of Jolo Merdueña, who's playing Jaime Reyes at a Comic-Con, and there was like a meet and greet and a signing, and they were asking him all kinds of questions. Awesome dude, seems like, by the way. I mean, obviously I don't know him, but he was so cool to this fan, answering all their questions, super in depth, taking his time, very like signing every comic for them, and just like really taking personal time out of his day to answer these questions in depth. And he was giving rich detail. Like, he was saying that because they asked him about what comic it was based on, because there's this really popular image that they keep using, but he was like, "No, not that one. Ours is most closely based on Graduation Day," if you've heard of that. Blue Beetle Graduation Day is like a more recent depiction, but he also said that they're taking a lot of liberties from the comics, so this movie is going to be somewhat different than comic depictions of Blue Beetle, which I think can be good and fresh, especially with a character that maybe isn't as popular as some other DC properties, kind of like have that chance to have that freedom and to use it. So he said quite a few things talking about the movie, and it was just cool to see him, that inside behind the scenes knowledge.
Now, do you know if this is a part of the new DCU, or is this just like one of those projects that's like kind of caught in the middle of this transition time? Like, from what I've seen, I've heard it both. I've heard that it's like, part of this transition, but then I've also heard that this is the first like movie that's moving on in James Gunn's DCU, but it was obviously made before James Gunn came into play. So like, where does this movie stand? Where should people care about this in terms of like the DC moving forward? Or is this just kind of like a one-off shot kind of thing?
Yeah. I don't know if we should care about it in terms of the DC moving forward, because I think these movies not being part of the continuity or the timeline, they would not tell us that, because that is just fuel to the fire of reasons why people shouldn't pay to go see their movie. I think they'd be stupid to tell us that, and I think they won't. So I don't know. I think that this movie could go either way. I think as long as it's not too tied in.
So as far as you know, they
could go
haven't
either
come out
way.
and said like,
As far as I know
okay.
now. But they have
didn't
one
think so.
reference to Batman in that, which is pretty small, and that it doesn't have to be Ben Affleck's Batman. It doesn't. So it's nothing specific from what we've seen in the trailer.
It could literally be the Lego Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
So they could slide that in.
they're
Could,
throwing any Batman into movies these days.
I think it. I think it partially depends. Michael Keaton. I think it partially depends on if it's popular, if it does well, whether they'll keep it, and how fans react to it. I'm sure they have kind of a plan in mind already, but I think it only benefits them to tell us that it's going to be part of it. So I think the fact that they're not saying one way or the other is kind of a bad sign for Blue Beetle. Whether either way, I think we should care about it in a different sense, in the sense that it's the first Hispanic superhero lead, and in the sense that it just looks like a damn good movie. Like, I think it looks like genuine fun, and I'm excited for it in the concept of the character and how good the suit looks, and to get to see that sword kick, and then when he flips that guy and kicks him into the wall, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a cool movie. But I also tend to get on the DC train and then just ride that train right off the cliff every time. So we'll see.
How do you think this movie is going to perform?
So here's the thing. We saw how the first Black Panther performed, and I think if the Hispanic community supports this movie the same way that we saw support for the first Black Panther movie, then it could perform extremely well, whether
Different
it's
circumstances,
a
though.
fantastic movie or not.
Different circumstances. You know,
What do you mean by that?
At that point, when Black Adam came out, like the MCU the MCU was huge.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and right now the DC universe is in shambles. You know, like, is it going to get better? Like, yeah, hopefully. It seems like they have a good plan, you know, but we don't really know where things are sitting right now. Like, is that going to affect people wanting to go see this movie? I feel like it's kind of affecting me, you know, like, I don't know, even just with even Zack Snyder's Justice League and stuff, like, I wasn't that interested in it after watching like one or two movies that just maybe weren't as good as they could have been. You know, like, are people going to put all that to the side and go watch this character that probably most people haven't even heard of? Like, I enjoy superheroes, but I've never heard of Blue Beetle before.
See, I am a bad sample audience because even like I didn't have that much of an interest in seeing Shazam 2. I wasn't that excited by the trailer. And I still am going to go and see all of these movies no matter what, because I love superheroes. I think that people are kind of in limbo with superhero movies a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing seems to be word of mouth, because we've seen the performance Shazam's doing right now. It's pretty pitiful. And
Black Adam,
even Black Adam, and even Ant-Man Quantumania, which we all thought Marvel was bulletproof. And I think word of mouth was very poor for that movie, and that movie underperformed seriously. So
it seemed like it did well the first weekend, and then once all the
bad reviews came out.
Yeah, once all the comic book superhero fans went to the movie, like, no one else really did. So I guess that's kind of where we're at with this one. Like, are people going to go see this?
I
hope so.
I think this will outperform Shazam, and I hope it outperforms Ant-Man Quantumania for the sake of this movie.
Yeah.
I think that
the character seems cool, like a cool concept and stuff from what you've been telling me. Again, I don't know too much about Blue Beetle. I can't even say the name right. I keep saying Black Adam for whatever reason. The Rock's hierarchy has gotten me.
he's successfully incepted you.
Yeah. He's in my brain. He's living there rent free right now.
And to be clear, this movie comes out August 18th, 2023. So there's still a lot of time between then and now. But as of right now, I've only seen positive reactions to the trailer. People very excited about the suit, especially, saying it looks really good. And everybody that like I see online seems to just get really hype watching it. Yeah. I mean, I was floored when he pulled that sword out.
That was pretty cool. But if he can create anything, why create a sword?
Because it looks awesome.
Exactly. It does.
Sometimes you got to get up close.
I mean,
and
he can fly. So
he can fly. Yeah,
he can use that sword effectively.
He can do a lot. He's a really creative and cool idea for a character. I really like Blue Beetle. The dynamic between him and the Scarab. He looks badass, all covered in blue and black. He
seems to be a mixture of a lot of superheroes that we like. You know, like even Green Lantern, where he can just make anything he wants. It's kind of like that, it seems. I have a question for you that's not about this movie specifically, but it's about this topic of superhero movies and how they're going to perform and stuff. Do you think people in general are having like this superhero fatigued moment where they're just kind of tired of superhero movies?
I think so.
I do you think it's
I feel it sometimes.
Yeah, me too. Like even just going to watch Air, like it was nice to go watch a different movie in a different genre, you know? But even outside of that, do you think that it's the superhero themselves, like the fact that it's superheroes, or do you think it's the
Quality change?
Exactly. Like just every superhero is kind of generic. There's no real deep emotion anymore. It kind of seems like they just hit on these like little funny parts, throw in a bunch of CGI, wrap it up, and then it's like, oh hey, you have a week to get all this done, crew. All right, go make it.
I think that I guess I'd have to say it's more so the quality, because we saw the reaction just in 2022 when the Batman came out. When a truly good superhero movie came out, people were extremely excited.
That's a good point.
And it didn't make as much money as Avengers movie, but I think that the reaction to that movie was a lot of love and a lot of respect. And I think the fatigue more so comes from the quantity over quality that we've seen as of late. But I mean, also partially, like sometimes even when it's good, you can get tired of it. I have that feeling with comic books a lot. I read a lot of comics that are not superhero comics because I can only read so much Batman and so much Flash before I want like a new story. Because yeah, they're re-envisioning and retelling these stories, but it's like, okay, Batman's gonna fight and come up with a new and creative way to defeat Clayface. I want to see what it is, but I also would like to. Right now I'm reading Skyward, and Skyward is about a world where gravity suddenly stops, and it's just all these new characters I've never met before, and all these unique situations that are completely different. So that is refreshing.
Maybe this will kind of introduce that to a lot of people, you know, a bunch of people and characters that a lot of people haven't met before. So maybe this will be that like kind of refreshing take on a superhero movie. I hope it does good. I'm definitely going to go see it. The trailer looked good. I'm interested to see how they're going to market this movie going forward, because I feel like DC has been doing a bad job at marketing their movies as of late, particularly in the sense of showing everything in their trailer without really showing anything at all, you know, in terms of like who's going to show up in the film. And like they just, the week or two before they drop, they're like, oh, Wonder Woman's in this film, and then she has a little role, and we're like, oh, Henry Cavill's in this movie, but then he has like just a little role, and then they fire him right after. Like, how are they going to market this movie? How are they going to get people in their seats? Like, they're going to drop another 2 trailers or so by the time this comes out. Like, how is that going to go? Are they going to show us too much?
I almost worry that they might have shown us too much already, because the stuff they've shown in this trailer is so phenomenal. And if they have nothing in the movie that can top the sword scene, to me, it's kind of a letdown that you would have shown me that in the trailer.
But they can't show us anything that's better than the sword scene.
They should wait until the movie. Exactly. Yeah. But that they should hold out the best scene in the movie. If the Avengers Endgame trailer showed Cap holding the hammer, I would have been furious.
Yes.
So I hope they're holding out something for us in this movie, something special, some more action. Like they seem to have made a good trailer so far that kind of, to me, gives me a little bit of an idea. Like Susan Sarandon's character is chasing the Scarab. She wants it. He has it. She presumably has nefarious intentions for it.
Yeah, like kind of leave it at that. But they're gonna have to drop another trailer, you know, to like
it's
get
not
more.
till August. Yeah.
So hopefully they do that in a tasteful way.
Yeah, you and I probably won't watch it.
I probably won't. I'm pretty notorious for that, not watching trailers, especially like the second and third trailer.
I mean, I've been doing it longer than you, but yeah, you're notorious for it.
Okay.
Sure.
What do you mean? We've been doing it probably just the same amount of time. What do you mean you've been doing it longer?
Spoken just like the person who started doing it after me.
What are you talking about? Name the movie that I watched more trailers from you that you didn't watch. You're just trying to take credit for everything.
I've been doing this for like 3 years, man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You've
been doing this podcast for 3 years,
I only
too?
watched the first trailer for the Batman.
So did I.
Yeah, sure.
This guy. Sometimes I can't stand
But
him.
I'm excited for Joel Marduena. Really great things happening, and he deserves it. Seems like a really cool guy. I really enjoyed watching him on Cobra Kai as a star.
What season was he in? Is he in all of them?
He's the star of Cobra Kai. Yeah,
Is he?
he's in every
Oh,
season.
okay.
He's the main character.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
He's
and
Miguel.
I only watched like the first season. So
Yeah, I mean, he looks different. If you've
Yeah.
only watched the first season, definitely looks a lot different.
And I mean,
His
that was
hair's
years ago, too,
Yeah,
right?
he's older. His
Yeah.
hair's really long. He's taller.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that if you watch,
like in this one, he's a superhero. In that first season, he was like this scrawny little kid. You know?
I'm curious if this is the kind of role he had to bulk up for or not. We'll probably find out in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to. You're wearing the scarab, but I'm still curious.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
All right, so we're definitely going to see this movie and we'll cover it. Let us know if we missed anything in this. Do you have any questions or anything else you want to talk about?
Not specifically about Blue Beetle. I think that kind of wraps it up. I'm excited to see the movie for sure. The suit looks cool. The mechanics of how he's moving and stuff looks really cool.
Dude, he flips the guy and kicks him and traps the bomb down. That's gonna be an epic scene.
Even just like those little like characteristic things of like his personality coming through, like when he's hitting his gloves together, you know, like
oh damn,
I
it's so
love
cool.
stuff like that, you know, like
getting hyped up.
Again, when we were watching it, I said it's like Henry Cavill pumping his arms, you know, and Fallout. Like that stuff is just fun.
Dude,
that stuff is cool.
When he kicks the sword up onto his shoulder, he goes, "Woohoo!" Like, dude, like getting
I nailed that. Did you guys see that?
He's like, I'm so freaking cool. Like, that's awesome. That's character shining through. Like, he's having fun. He's like a Spider-Man-esque. He's a high schooler who has suddenly incredible power and he's enjoying it.
Yeah,
like, I love that character shining through. I thought that was so fun the way he just kind of like cheered himself on. I love the sword moment. It's so sick. And I think that we're going to have some really cool moments to come in that movie. Hopefully like some training montages. He's learning to use the powers.
Yeah, this trailer got me excited for the movie, probably more so than I was before the trailer dropped. And I'm just hoping that the movie itself is good. You know, like we need a good movie here.
Sierra theorized that he might be a fan of something that spawned the idea of the creation of the sword, something like Final Fantasy or like an anime, like like Zabuza has the Executioner's Blade, some like that kind of big sword. I feel like is usually a thing in like video games or anime or something.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's like an added personality element in there. I mean, cool. Like I said, it also reminds us of Power Rangers too. So
yeah,
I think the suit looks so good. He looks like the glowing emblem on the chest. They also nailed it. Like, I mean, in some comics, it's all black, the emblem, but I think it looks so cool the way they've done it. Glowing, the blues and blacks, the yellow eyes. Oh, yeah, so sick.
It looks cool.
And just like the way the scarab wraps around his back, you see like behind his shoulder and then under his arm there, like wraps his body. Plus, it reminds me of the Iron Spider too. The way the legs come out of it.
That's what I'm saying. He's just a mixture of like every superhero put into
He's got a lot going on, dude. And then the way, just like Venom, like the scarab could take over and protect him. Like it pulled out that shield and protected him from the bus. Like
it almost killed everyone on the bus.
Luckily, no one's in the walkway at that time. But I hope that they really touch on the fighting dynamic between him and the scarab. I hope that's a big plot point.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm happy with this. I'm very excited for this movie. I'm glad we got to react to the trailer. I hope hey, do you have anything to talk about? And if you're on Spotify, I'm looking at the camera. But if anybody has any thoughts on this or wants to message, we got a little bit of free time left in the day. We can hit you guys up in the comments and any of our social media, on YouTube, wherever. We'd love to chat about this or give us any episode suggestions, topics.
Yeah, we post new episodes every Monday and Thursday. We post shorts and clips from our episodes every single day on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So there's a lot of ways that you guys can react or interact with us and our podcast.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we appreciate you guys a ton.
Yes, definitely. And that's a wrap.